and we're going to have a great webinar session today. So let's start. I'd like to welcome everyone, Miss. First of all, our guest, Miss Damaris Wambua, our host, Mrs. Sara da Costa, and it's a pleasure be here today. So we're going to talk about an interesting webinar, which topic is teacher burnout beyond the classroom. So I think as we know, burnout is that topic that has been discussed in all societies. And with this session, we're going to explore psychological, emotional, and professional tools in teach, but looking at ways that burnout can follow you beyond the school. So that's why we're going to have a great webinar session. Who is going to be, and we're going to have a special guest from Kenya, who's going to present it on us, and we're going to have a fascinating presentation. Please, audience, I invite you to use your chat. You can share your ideas, your thoughts, and your questions throughout our presentation. Let me introduce our speaker for today. It's a great pleasure having you joining us, Miss Damaris Wambua. Miss Damaris, she's a professional educator, facilitator with 11 years of experience in teaching English and literature. She is an advocate of teacher wellbeing. It is a huge pleasure here at ANELTA Luanda, Angola, receiving you. And I'm Iraci Sassoco. I will be your moderator for today. I'm a production engineer by Prodel, and I'm a member of ANELTA Women SIG as well. Please welcome to Miss Damaris Wambua. Miss Damaris, a great pleasure today having you, and the floor is yours. Good evening, Miss Damaris.
Good evening. Thank you for introducing me. It's a pleasure also to be a guest for this webinar. It's my first time to be a guest at the ANELTA SIG Angola, and I appreciate Sarah very much for giving me this opportunity. She just requested if I would talk about teacher burnout, and I was really willing to share about this, because I know we've talked mostly about students' academic burnout, but rarely do people talk about teacher burnout. And it is quite a thing that is always at my heart, because I know teachers are going through emotional, psychological, as well as mental burnout. And we need one person, two people to talk about this, because once we share a problem as teachers, then it becomes a problem that is half solved. So I would love to begin from this point. So as you mentioned, my name is Damaris Wambua. I come from Kenya. and I am currently teaching at Sinders International School of Angola. I teach grade 11 and 12, and our school offers the IB curriculum. So I hold a master's degree in English literature, as well as a bachelor's degree in English and literature. I am also a TESOL certified educator, and I do write articles, and I'm working on a book that I intend to launch at the end of this year or early next year. So it will be my pleasure also to share the same with you so that everyone can read and can try to resonate with my story and as well what I will be talking about in my book. So welcome and thank you for joining us. We have quite a number of people who have joined. Maybe on the chat box we can just mention our names and maybe the countries or where we are joining the webinar from. Maybe 1 minute to do this, and then we shall proceed.
Okay, I'm Jacob Maithia, joining from Kenya, Mwingi.
Thank you.
Yeah, I am Agustinho Bernardo Changano from Angola, Kubangu province at the Kwangari municipality.
Thank you.
And then Dorothy Kibeka from Mwingi, Kenya.
Thank you, Dorothy.
Yeah, this is Mr. Kalumbi from Angola, Minonge municipality of the province of Kubangu.
Thank you.
My name is noted Scholar Omangi, Mwingi, Kenya.
Wow, thank you for joining. This was my first principal and I appreciate her for joining. My first boss, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate your presence.
Dear colleague, I am teacher Katerina. I'm here to support you.
Thank you. Thank you. So maybe we can continue from this point. If there is no one else who is introducing themselves, maybe we can just check from the chats. We have a few people we have Menti from Malawi, we have Ruth from Kenya, and Philomena from Angola. So your voice matters, and your well-being matters, and your story as well matters as a teacher and as an educator. Today, I want to just give you an opportunity to reflect on this. Why did you start teaching as a teacher? What motivated you into becoming a teacher? Maybe we can get 2 answers and then we proceed. What makes you, or what made you to start teaching? Anyone who is willing to respond to the question?
Talking to Mr. Agustinho Bernardo Changano, as we know that English is an international and commercial language, and English connects Angola to the world at large. So I decided to make my contribution in teaching students so that they can communicate themselves, they can make business out there. One of the reasons that made me teach English is that one. Thank you.
Thank you. So thank you for your contribution. So apart from teaching English as an educator, there is one thing that propelled you or pushed you into becoming a teacher. Sometimes we say teaching is a calling, and maybe some people did not choose to become teachers, others did choose to become teachers. And from this now we understand what still matters to you. Now that you are an educator, now that you are a teacher, what still matters to you? This is basically from my perspective and from my understanding. I am not going to talk as quite a professional about teachers and all these, but I'm here to share my experience and the experience of a few people that I have interacted with. What still matters to me as a teacher is leaving behind a legacy. What will you be remembered for once you're no longer in the classroom? Once you've stopped teaching? What is that one thing that you want your students, your colleagues, your bosses, and every other stakeholder in the education system to recall you from? So in this now, I think it is quite a moment that you need to reflect about this. Every time, take a reason. What motivates you to wake up every morning? What is that one thing that you want to do? So in this case, then, this is where now I talk about your story. Your story matters. That one thing that drives you, that one student that you're out there to change, to empower, and to inform so that they become a better person in the future. So teaching to me is more than a profession. It is emotional, it is a personal and a deeply human thing for every teacher to do. But alongside teaching now, we have things that weigh us down as teachers. Mostly people talk about teacher burnout from the classroom. But then in my career, I've also come to learn that there are things that do matter other than the classroom, other than the work environment. We also do have other things that are outside the classroom, outside our working environment, that pull us, that give us that emotional drain, that make us not to be as effective as we ought to be every single day. And I would like to share my research about teacher burnout. Teacher burnout is a state of chronic exhaustion that occurs after prolonged periods of stress, largely due to demanding nature of the education field. Teachers provide students with daily support and guidance, often to the detriment of their mental health and self-care. Mostly we learn that everyone is advocating for the students' well-being, but then no one really checks on you as a person. No one checks on us as teachers. What is that one thing that you're going to do? What is that one particular change that you want to bring in the education system that you can check on your friend, you can check on your boss, you can check on your colleague, so that as we pour into our students, then we are also collaborating to support each other. And now this drives me to talk about the burnout beyond the classroom. You are stressed over finances. Maybe you're dealing with health. Maybe you have a sick child. Sometimes you're going through personal issues, personal strains, and so much. So this burnout is not going to be burnout in the classroom. These are external factors that are going to affect you as an educator. And when we are burnt out, then it means we do not have effective delivery. We will not be effective in nurturing our students, the students that we are entrusted with. So burnout does not end at school. It does not end at your work environment, because I also understand that it is not a thing that is faced by teachers only. It is a thing that goes and spreads out even to other professions. This burnout will follow you at your home, at the malls, at church, in your parties, everywhere that you go. And at the end of the day, it is going to shape your identity as a person. How do you behave? How do you react? It is also going to shape your relationships with people, with your colleagues, with your students, and every other person that surrounds you. So let us reflect on this, and maybe I get some answers from 1 or 3 people. Always, as an educator in the classroom and as well outside the classroom, you're giving so much, but who is pouring into you? Maybe we can share our responses in the chat. You give so much. You're giving to the students. You're giving every now and then. Who is pouring into you? Have you ever thought about this? Did you ever sit at any single moment and ask yourself about this? Now that you're pouring into people, who is pouring into your cup? Maybe you can unmute yourself and then we get a response, 1 or 2.
Hi, this is Ruth. Basically, I don't think anybody is pouring into me. I pour into myself.
Thank you for the response, Ruth.
For me, I think in-service training can serve as a source of pouring into me.
Mm-hmm. Sarah, I would want Sarah to give us a response.
I'm also wondering here. It's a tricky question. It's a good question. I mean, yeah, I think it's for me to reflect, I would say, because like, yeah, who is pouring into me? But I would say my family, perhaps, yeah. For me, it would be my family, yeah, my kids and my husband.
Thank you for your response. Yeah, quite true. Your family can support you. So when I thought about this, then I thought about this picture, and it was quite a reflection that we pour in from the kettle, and again we are receiving from the glass. So you should at least get a circle of friends. Maybe you can join associations, you can have your family, you can get your colleagues to be your support system every time you feel that you are overwhelmed, or every time you feel that there's something that you need to share. You need to find someone that you can trust, that you can share with every detail about yourself. Maybe a family, a spouse, maybe your sisters, your brothers, your family. Because at the end of the day, if you're pouring from an empty cup, then it means you're not efficient enough. And whom are the people that we are pouring into? Our students. And you know, they can feel, they can sense, they can see when a teacher is good, when they are fine, when you're okay, and when you're not okay. And from this now, when I thought about it, it made me reflect as about a day I was not really well, and a student just looked at me and said, "Fine, are you okay?" I said, "Yes, I'm fine." "Are you sick?" "No, I'm not sick." But the student insisted. Deep inside, I knew I was going through some stress, but I could not admit it. So our students can see, they can feel, they can understand all what we are going through, only that they do not have the power to just keep insisting. So what kind of students are we bringing up? Because if we create a broken generation, then it means that we are not doing what we are supposed to do. We are not bringing the kind of people we intend to bring. So this is a point of reflection for every educator. Reflect about this. So find someone, find your strength, find someone who pours into you so that you also do have enough to pour onto other people. And I am trying to look for my slide to disappear a bit. I will stop sharing, then I will share again. So, a burnout is characterized by several feelings. You feel emotionally drained. What would we talk about when we talk about emotional drain? You feel overwhelmed. You feel that you have lost your own purpose as a person. And more so, you find that your work, your family issues are spilling over into each other. So in this case, then I would advocate for a space whereby when you are at work, you just get to do what is meant for you to do at work. When you're dealing with your family, then you have to deal with your family. Mixing all these things is going to cause an imbalance, and at the end of the day, it is going to affect you as a person. It is going to affect maybe your family on this other side, and at the same time, it is also going to affect your students if you're bringing your spill over from personal life into the classroom. So we can look at a few early signs of burnout, lack of motivation. Maybe we would begin from this point. How do you feel today, now that we've all had this Labor Day holiday? Someone can just tell us how they feel today. Do you feel motivated? Do you feel tired? Do you feel withdrawn from social activities? Do you have any physical symptoms of teacher burnout?
Hello, Miss Damaris.
Yes.
Mr. Geoffrey, I think I can share the experience.
Yes.
This day of resting has given me a chance of distributing my duties. Not that I'm resting as such, but I got a chance to distribute, to lessen the pressure. So it means that I'm more relaxed now. In fact, I'm happy. I've never had this before because the work was following each other very closely, and so the happiness disappeared. But now, yesterday and today, and probably tomorrow, I feel like I have innermost happiness. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Geoffrey, for sharing your experience. Anyone else who is willing to share what they feel today?
Hello. Well, Miss Damaris.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
For me, I'm still exhausted. Yes, there has been rest from yesterday being Labor Day, but there's still work to be done. So like, there's really not that time you take for yourself. And even when you do, it's because you pause the work. It's not because you're done. It's because you pause it and say, now I will have to take time for myself. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing this. Anyone else who is maybe Sarah?
Hello.
Yes, thank
Hello,
you.
Mr. Maris.
Hello.
Yeah, I am a teacher of English in the province of Kubangu in Minonge. My concern is in regards to the same topic is teacher burnout.
Yes.
Usually, I say there are symptoms of teacher burnout whereby a teacher becomes stressed, loses concentration, lack of preparation in some lessons. Sometimes the teacher does not really answer questions from students correctly. My concern is how does a teacher deal with such a situation when you are aware that you are under stress because of teacher burnout? Like it says, sometimes this may occur because like our Angolan classes have got the characteristic of having too many students. Take for example, I have a class where I go up to 72 students, and it's really a tough time to really make everybody concentrate and get to hear what you're saying. So I would really love to know what methods, how can a teacher try to relieve himself of such situations of being stressed because of teacher burnout. Please, thank you so much. This is my question.
So thank you for your question. I will answer in a very simple way. When we talk about teacher burnout, we are basically not saying that we should never work. Work is going to be there today, tomorrow, and even in the future. But at the same time, then it also matters how do you balance your activities during the day and after school work. Because, for example, if you're doing your lesson plans, you need to schedule your time. You need to know what time is for you to work, what time is for you to get your space to rest. After school, what do you need to do? Because like in the given generation, we cannot completely detach ourselves from working after work. So you carry all these with you after work because at the end of the day, you need to deliver. You need to make sure that you're prepared enough for your next class. If you just show up in class without preparing, it means you're going to really have a very difficult time with the students because maybe you will not give them enough activities, so they will keep running up and down, making noise. And given the fact that your class is quite a huge class, you need to find like many interactive activities for the students so that you can tame their behavior, because with classroom management and control, you're in a position to deliver quite well. And then now in regards to your preparation, you need to make sure that you prepare early enough so that you don't have to pile over work over again and again, because at the end of the day, you're the same person who is going to do the work. So all I can advise is a balance of your time. When it's time to rest, you really need to rest. When it's time to work, you need to work, and if there is any work that you have to carry with you that is extra from your working life, then you also need to sacrifice. And that is what I began by asking, what still matters to you? Sometimes you will stay late at night without rest just because you have something that is pending and you have to clear it. I hope I answered your question.
Hello, Miss Damaris.
Yes.
So, sorry, just to remember the audience, just wait for a few minutes when we get to the question and answer session, just to not make confuse Miss Damaris' presentation.
Okay.
Please, audience, let's wait for the Q&A session. We're not gonna make questions anymore. At least it will be important or very important at the moment. Otherwise, we can wait for question and answer session. Thank you.
Thank you for the clarification. And now I will talk about the strategies for our well-being as educators. And when I answered the question earlier, I talked about setting firm boundaries. What is work? What is this workspace? What do I need to do at work? What do I need to do during my rest time? And that is why I'm talking about prioritizing your rest. For me, even my colleagues, they know when it is time to rest, I will put everything down, including my phone, and I will take a rest, because if you do not rest, then it means you're going to be overwhelmed, you're going to be drained, you're going to have fatigue, and with all these aspects, then we are now going to be talking about teacher burnout. Another strategy is seek support. You are not an island as an educator. Ask someone. If you're working on something that you really don't understand how to do it, how to go about it, just ask for support. Ask for collaboration. Ask for like a colleague to assist you in maybe doing a presentation, preparing a PowerPoint. What are the best strategies that you can use in your class? And from this collaboration and support from each other, then it is very easy for us to navigate through the teaching career. And in this aspect, we are in a position to at least trim off these things that bring the teacher burnout. Also, we can just foster networks, join webinars, conferences, associations, learn 1, 2, 3 things, because at the end of the day, the education dynamics, the technology, everything is changing so rapidly. Every single day you wake up, there's this, you wake up, there's artificial intelligence. If again you don't match up with the changes that are there, if you're not adaptable enough, then it means you're also going to be drained, because your students expect quite a lot from you. Then also take time to reflect intentionally. Take time to think about your purpose as a person, as an educator. What drives you? Why am I showing up? Why am I doing things? Do not put work at the expense of your own well-being, because at the end of the day, if you're not there today, tomorrow you will be replaced. So your well-being is going to determine how productive you're going to be in your classes as well as your work. So I thought about resting, and I wrote an article about rest. Resting is not laziness. It isn't laziness. Rest is very necessary for each and every one of us as an educator. Rest is productive. When you rest, you're going to show up a different person the next day. Just take a look at the pictures, maybe as I speak, and just try to analyze them. How relaxed these people and these emojis are. Look at the front, relaxing, like you rejuvenate, you refuel, and from these you're restored. In the sense that now, when you show up tomorrow, when you show up after the school holidays, when you show up after a short break like the one we just had yesterday, you are quite a different person. You are healing from what has been making you drain every other single day. So take your time to rest. Take your time to rest. Rest, I emphasize, resting is not laziness. You can rest and at the same time do your work. Maybe after work, just take one, put your phone down. Don't respond to those emails. Put it down, take your time, relax. Maybe you can take a walk, you can sleep, you can listen to music, you can do something that motivates you or something that you love. In class, we also tell our students the same. And this is the same thing for us teachers. Take your time to rest. You cannot do everything at the same time. Balance your things. Balance your work and your rest. So what energizes you as a person? What motivates you? Do the voices of your students make an impact? I shared this picture just to reflect. As a teacher, if you show up every single day and no student participates, no student responds to what you're saying in class, it would really drain you as a person. But look at this class, full of activities and full of life. Just try as much as possible to bring along activities for your students, that the activities that are going to make them engage, participate, and become interactive. Use real life situations with them so that at least it brings out the best. Once the students are participating, they are interacting, it makes your work easier as an educator, as a teacher, and at the end of the day, you will not feel overwhelmed, you will not feel the fatigue. It is going to push you and give you a reason to show up the following day. Then I also asked myself, what drains you the most as an educator? Maybe I would want to hear from my audience today. What drains you as educators? Because I do also have my special, like small things that do drain me in the classroom. Maybe we can get responses from one or two, not a question, but a response. What drains you as an educator? Anyone?
Hello, Mr. Kalumbi, one more time. In regard to the question, what drains you most as an educator? In my position, I would say large number of students in classes. Though there are many methodologies on how to maintain or take care of large number of students, but if the class is too large, sometimes one loses concentration, because take for example, in my position, I have to teach from 1 p.m. to about 6 p.m. So like from the time I start, when I go to the 6th and 7th period, I'm physically drained, and then to face a class of up to 70 or 72 students. Well, physically, I'm drained, and then also the number of students that I have in the class really puts me up. So this is what I can say in regard to the question, what really drains me. That's the number of students in class that really affect. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Maybe Rastaman can share their experience. I just read from the participants. Stella, maybe you can share your experience. What drains you the most as an educator? So if there is no one to share their experience, then maybe I will talk about a few things. There are so many things that are going to drain you as an educator from the classroom and out of the classroom. Maybe as I've forgotten the name, Mr. Kalumbi, as he mentioned, the large number of students in a class. This is a problem that is facing many African schools, whereby the classes are quite large, and this becomes a big problem, especially if you're the only teacher in class without an assistant. And it is quite a terrible state of things, because we have to deal with this and as educators, but this does not give us a reason to give up. These students are looking up to you as their teacher, and actually I only realized that there are some students who show up in school because Miss will show up. They long for that day to see you. They long for that moment in your classroom. So, Mr. Kalumbi, do not give up. Keep showing up. I know this is a big challenge. For me, I'm not facing that now, but initially or in my previous sessions, I have dealt with a class of around 61 students. It was quite a big class, and these are some of the things that will drain you, because you need to assess them, you need to give them work, you need to correct, you need to do all things, you need to reach out to all of them, and remember, all these students are not students with equal capabilities, so they will need different support from just you one teacher. So keep showing up. Challenges are there, but still, even with all these burnout, you still need to show up every other single day. And your dedication inspires someone every day. Why do you show up? Why do you show up to that classroom with 70 students? Teaching is not all about what you're going to earn at the end of the day. I mentioned it's what you will live. When you show up, you're inspiring 70 students in a day. When you show up, you're inspiring 30 students, 15 students, and this is all what matters to me as an educator, and I'm quite sure it all also matters to other people. So I would urge everyone to keep going and to keep showing up every single day. So my call to action today is take that one step today. Rest, reach out, reset, refocus, and reflect. With all this, maybe we are going to be in a position to beat teacher burnout. And also, let us take it as a personal initiative to just research about teacher burnout, how you feel if you see your friend is maybe suffering or going through something, how can you come through for them? How do you assist? Because at the end of the day, we need to show up for our friends. We need to pour into their cups as they pour into our cups. Thank you very much for listening. And if there are any questions, maybe I will be glad to answer. Maybe we can just look at them maybe from the chat. Maybe you want to ask a question.
Yes.
Maybe feel
Thank
free.
you, Ms. Damaris. Thank you for that insightful presentation. Thank you for your contribution. So I will ask the audience to write right now the questions in the chat. Then Ms. Damaris can answer. Thank you, Ms. Damaris. Then what we can say about burnout and what some points that we could get from that is that it's important to ask ourselves how we are at the moment. I think it's a question that you have to ask yourself every day. As teacher, as human being that face many circumstances. Ms. Damaris, another point that I could get from that presentation is that burnout is not just in the classroom.
Yes.
Follow you, and we have to be aware to not become our burnout signs, not to become, but to treat them and not fight them or not them to treat, to get more well-being. As in your biography, teacher, well-being matters. Thank you, Ms. Damaris, for your presentation. So let's check if we have some questions.
So I can see someone said that it is from the same daily routine. As a teacher, you can take an initiative to create your own engaging and interactive activities so that you do not have to do the same things every single day. For example, if it's in English, reading comprehensions, you can even tell them to write and then they read them storytelling in class instead of reading the old boring text. You tell them to share their own stories, and in that you're going to achieve something in a different way.
Okay, we've got the first one question from Mr. Rastman. Yes. He says, what are the possible strategies to maintain discipline so that it cannot lead to the teacher's burnout? The possible strategies to maintain discipline.
So I will admit, as a teacher and with the current generation, indiscipline is quite a problem in our schools. But at the same time, maybe you can collaborate with the school administration to put in to enforce the school rules. And also as a teacher, you can just get your students and you come up with class rules for this particular classroom. For example, you can decide with the students, you cannot talk when another person is talking, and you set the rules, you write them, and maybe you paste them on the wall, because from this, they know we agreed. It is not the teacher who came up with this particular rule. We agreed collaboratively as a class. This is what we want our class to look like. This is what we want to do in our class. And this is what is wrong in our class. Maybe from this, you're going to find that they are also buying your idea that chewing in class is wrong, shouting at one another in class is wrong, So from this, you give them the student autonomy that they can sit down, give the rules by themselves. With this, they will feel that they own the class and it is not something that is forced. Maybe they will collaborate more.
Okay, Miss Damaris, I can't see or I don't see any other question yet. I have one question about burnout. So you think, for example, we have Kenya and Angola could be another two places or different realities. I think you think that how can I say different society influence in different way of burnout manifesting teacher or another professional.
Thank you for the question. Maybe I would say that teacher burnout is a universal thing. The same things that are overwhelming a teacher in Kenya, a teacher in Canada, a teacher in Angola, these are the same things that cut across the board, and they are the same things that are making teachers get overwhelmed. And just to respond to how can teachers themselves recognize early signs of burnout and take steps to protect their mental health? I will relate this to so that I give one comprehensive answer. As a teacher, when you started teaching, there are things that used to like make you feel excited about showing up at work. Then all of a sudden, you never feel the motivation to show up. All of a sudden, you feel tired, you feel you don't want to do the things that you used to love about going to school and showing up at work. Now, when it comes to this point, you need to take a step back and maybe reflect about it. Why is it that I'm no longer motivated to show up? Maybe what happened? What changed? And from this now, you can also learn whether this is leading to burnout, because we say this is something that keeps recurring over and over and over again. So you don't want to show up. You just feel irritated just from very small things. And then you sit back and ask yourself, maybe, is my family draining me? Is my work draining me? Is my environment? What are the things that are making me not want to do the things that I used to do willingly without being pushed, without being supervised? And from this, maybe now you can understand, because everyone understands themselves. You also feel yourself when you're getting into stress or when you have a situation that is weighing you down. Yeah. So from this now, if you understand what is really pulling you down, you can now seek for maybe therapy, you can talk to a colleague, you can talk to a supervisor and such kind of things, so that we protect our own mental health, and that will bring the stability in the education systems.
Okay, thank you. We've got two. We're going to get these more two questions. The first one's for ANELTA. How can teachers themselves recognize early signs of burnout and take steps to protect their mental health? The first one.
I think this is the question I answered alongside the question you gave me.
Yeah, it was already.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can move to the second question. Thanks, Iraci.
Okay, the second one, the last, we have during the lesson as aspiration can be handled now. This is for Boma Karibo.
During the lesson,
exasperation. I don't know if.
I hope this exasperation is referring to frustration and exhaustion.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes the students get really into your nerves. And the same way we tell the students to take a step back, to breathe in, breathe out, I think the same thing would apply to you as a teacher. You need to first think about what has caused all this frustration before you react. Because with the kind of students we have right now, when you react directly to them, they will answer back. And this is going to become now like a war that you people are getting into. Maybe from just taking a step back to think about it, to reflect about it, you can give a different response, maybe to the student who has maybe annoyed you, who is overwhelmed in class, who is misbehaving in class, and then from that point, maybe you can get to a neutral and a clear understanding of why something happened.
The other one, we can give more one from, yes, is target like a mobile phone. Is the burnout rate for teachers is higher than for burnout for other professions?
I
Mm-hmm.
mentioned that from my own understanding, burnout is equally the same across most of the professions. When I wrote this article about teacher burnout and it was published in the Kenyan newspaper, so many people reached out to me, not only teachers, but even nurses and other professions talking about the same. And they were like, this is the same thing that we are going through every single day. So for me, I would say that burnout cuts across all professions because we are all human beings. And if you're sick, then this is going to affect you the same way it is going to affect a nurse. If you're going through financial strains, it is going to be the same feeling that an engineer is going to feel. So I think teacher burnout and burnout in other professions is equally the same. Someone asked, how can women rest between school and house chores? And this question is quite difficult for me, and especially when it touches on women. Because as a woman, you have to show up in many, many forms. As a mother, as a soldier, as a policeman, as a nurse, as a teacher, doctor, all in one. But then, I don't know, maybe the grace will carry us through as women. For this question, I really don't have a clear, straight answer to this. It is a heavy question. This was a question by Tamini. I think we need to research more on this. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, Ms. Damaris.
Yes. I think I cannot find any other question. So Tamini is a huge and a heavy question that we need to reflect on over time and do a bit of research. It is quite a task for me.
Yeah, regarding her question as a woman, I don't know, Iraci, would you like to share maybe your experience?
No, I say that I already did my question, but I don't know. Today it was a calm day for me. I don't know why. That's why, because yes, nowadays we've been talking about burnout and burnout. I used to say that people science just name it because burnout was is among us for ages and used to to be around us till now as women professionals, moms, and wives. I think for Roma, maybe things getting more strict and delicate for us. I'm not getting out. How can I say from men? It's not. It's not mean that it doesn't mean sorry that a man doesn't get burnout, but I think it's a topic that our society could see with another look about women who are professional, mom, daughters, and sister, because we've been handled too many things at the same time. This is my point of view because can start with at home. My advice, especially for women, if you are tired, you have to say, I'm tired. I'm quite sure that your partner will understand that you are tired. But if you do not speak, if you do not say, I'm not tired, people will see you like a superwoman. Yes, we're not strong every day. We're not strong every time. On the other hand, we need a huge embrace. You need to step, and people look at us and say, "You need a cup of coffee. You need ice cream. You need 5 times of breathing and resting." This is my opinion, Miss Damaris and Sarah. So burnout we have to take this thing more serious than we should, or than we've been taken. Yes, we should take more serious than we've been taken.
Yeah, exactly. I also, yeah, thank you, Iraci. I also wanted to share a bit of my experience. Like when I started teaching, I started teaching as a secondary school teacher, and it was really, I mean, that's where I really experienced teacher burnout. Yeah, and especially, for our reality here in Angola, we do have large classes, although my classes were not that large as compared to other colleagues who have, like, as we saw, one of our teachers here who said that he has about 70 students. I know we have this reality. I had about 30 to 35 students, but still, I mean, it's like 7 classes or 8 classes that you have to deal with. And then the teaching conditions and all that, because we did a lot of paperwork. I mean, the reports, it was all manual, it was really, really tiring. But what I learned from experience from these years, it's taking a nap. Like it's what Iraci just said, to let people know, to express your feelings. And I think that's the first step, as she mentioned, that I had to teach everyone at home, starting from my husband and my kids, that rest is important. Like when I'm resting, I don't want anyone to disturb me, because after that, of course, I'll be refreshed and I'll be available for everything. And it's really challenging for us as women, especially African women. It's more challenging because we carry more of the house chores and all that. So I think it's from my experience, I always take naps, like usually every day. I always have my napping time. I always do that. And having that support system, like when I'm napping, someone should be there, take care of the kids and the house and all that. I think this is also something that's really important. And as teachers, what we do sometimes is that we tend to carry our work at home, and I used to avoid that. Like for me, weekends are like holy for me. I don't like doing any work during weekends. And I heard someone, I remember someone was saying about taking holidays during weekends, like create your own mini holiday, during the week. Like you work from Monday to Friday, but then during the weekends, it's really for you to take time and rest, find some time to rest. It's really important. Otherwise, I mean, it's a passion. It's a really rewarding job, but also it can also be, I don't know how to put it, it can impact our health negatively if we just want to give it all, as we already heard here today. I don't know if we can answer more. I think we have. I don't know, Ms. Damaris, if you have any questions that you would like to answer. We are almost at the end of our session. I think we don't have any questions, right? I hope we have answered all your questions.
I think we've answered all the questions, and the ones that maybe were remaining, I answered through the chat. Yes, thank you. Asante sana from Kenya to Angola. Muito obrigada.
Okay. In Angola, we say de nada.
De nada.
Means no. Yes, means no clue, means don't mention it. Hi everyone, it was a great pleasure. Thank you again for your insightful responses and a great time with us. Thank you for joining us today. And we hope to see you again in more next webinars. Yes, I'd like to hear from Mrs. Sarah, and I'd like to note everyone ask everyone to be aware about our next webinar. Sorry, I don't know if Mrs. Sarah has another thing to add, another comment.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Thank you so much, Ms. Iraci. Thank you so much, Damaris, for your wonderful presentation. And I see that we have a great community here from Kenya, and some of them are already, I don't know if all of them are working also in Angola. It will be really awesome to meet you guys, to meet you all. I saw that we have some participants from Kenya, just like you, who are also working here in Angola, and it has been a great pleasure from the first time that we met, and now it's even it's even more amazing. Thank you all for being here tonight. Well, I wasn't in the beginning when we started, before the session started, obviously. This is Sara Neves da Costa. I am the co-founder and the coordinator of ANELTA Women SIG, and I'm really happy to see a large community here tonight, especially from our community from Kenya and all those who joined us from other parts of the country and the world. Yes, I've dropped here in the chat box our website. So for those who are in Angola, or for those who would like to know more about ANELTA, you can visit our website. I've dropped it here in the chat box at www.anelta.org and register there. We have our WhatsApp community where we share our upcoming events and other sessions, networking, and other opportunities in English language teaching. So it would be really great for you to join us if you are in Angola. And also you can stay tuned to our upcoming events. We usually always have webinars each month, and we also have in-person activities, usually our annual conference, the ANELTA Women SIG annual conference. We also have the ANELTA main annual conference happening soon. I hope it's happening soon. Yes, you're preparing for that. We had our last conference last year, and this year we are waiting for news on that. But for ANELTA Women SIG, we also have our annual conference, which is in person, and it's going to take place at the end of November. So please stay tuned to our social networks on Facebook and LinkedIn. You can search for my account. I always post on our association's activities. I've dropped the link here in the chat box. I think I'll copy it and paste it again so that you can all have access to it. Thank you so much. I mean, I don't even have words to express here. I don't know, Mr. Alfonso, if you have anything that we have the president here, the president of ANELTA. I don't know if you would like to say something to our audience here tonight. I don't know if you're still there, if you can hear us, Mr. Alfonso.
Thank you, Sarah. Actually, I don't want to be an intruder.
No, you're not.
But just to but just to thank Damaris, that was a great presentation. It's not all about the presentation, but the knowledge she shared with us. So, Damaris, once again, the board of ANELTA thanks you a lot for this. I mean, for sharing us, with us all this aspect of burnout. We really need that. And special thanks to teachers from Kubangu. Yeah.
We have teachers. Welcome.
Yeah. So in all, thank you, Sarah, for the great webinars you've been organizing. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah. And the moderator, though I have shared my message, the moderator, Iraci. I don't know.
Yes,
is this name? Yeah, thank you for your so interesting moderation. It was really nice. Yeah, so much appreciated. Damaris, thank you once again.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
We have someone from Ukraine. That's great. What a great community. Thank you all. Keep stay tuned to our social media.